One key factor was that when myself and my husband started the business, we both didn't have a business background. My specialty was in advertising, and I was also an adjunct professor and editorial manager. Before that, he was VP of compliance in Bank of America. So we've been around the world of business, but that wasn't really our forte. And so one of the key success factors that helped us scale so quickly was the fact that we were still in our 9 to 5 jobs at that point. And so the income that we were receiving was helping us to kind of fund the business. So that was one of the first things. So we made the decision early on that we would invest our time after hours. We actually spent around, in that first year, 19 hours, maybe a little less, maybe about 18, 19 hours working on the business. So we would take the train into the city and then, go to work, come back home at 5, and we would download podcasts and books that we wanted to read and to execute and implement when we got back home. And then from about 8 o'clock, we would start to work on the business. By 1, 2 o'clock, we would go to sleep and then start again. So the first thing was that we were still in our 9 to 5 jobs, which was a great support in terms of cash flow for us. Second thing is we weren't afraid to put in the hours of working on the business, right? So we would spend that additional time. The other thing was that we didn't take any money out of the business during that first year. I think not until maybe a year and a half or 2 years later did we start taking money out of the business. So every dime, every dollar that we put in, we reinvested back into the business. The other thing, I think, key success factor was that we decided that only when we reach that level where one of our salaries would be able to be compensated with the revenue that we were making, then only would leave our jobs. So I was the first person to leave. And then maybe a year and a half later, he left after we started growing. And so that's kind of what we were all self-funded, no VC backing. We started with $50 actually. The first thing we did was we invested in a couple of sports water bottles. They were foldable at that time. And so first marketplace we put it on was eBay. And so one of the things that we did was, instead of selling them individually, we bundled them. And so we were able to make a return on our investment there, and then we reinvested back the money into the business. And so those are kind of some of the key highlights that I remember that helped us scale so quickly.
Am I correct? I sort of remember Colin mentioning this to me once. Did you buy those bottles for $1 in a dollar store, and then you sold them for $20 each, something like that?
Yes, correct. So essentially we flipped.
I love that story.
We flipped the bottles. So we bundled them together. And so that was kind of the starting point for us. And we kind of stayed in the same niche, but that was kind of the first product that we tested.